comments, and then we'll get into questions.
Alex, first you have to say happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, everyone.
Okay, there you go. All right, now I'm more comfortable. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just wanted to say something first before we obviously get into questions. I spoke to the team today, and I just wanted to reiterate, I told them that they need to take a moment and think about our veterans today, being Veterans Day today. And, I've always had a great deal of respect for our military, and it was awesome to see, them well represented, obviously, throughout the league, with the salute to service game, and I believe that continues on to this week. So, we talked about these things and how, we wouldn't be able to do what we do if it wasn't for them. So I just wanted to make sure that, I mentioned that in the team meeting and that's just the way I feel and we're all appreciative of it. So I'm ready.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Mark Long.
In Canada?
Somebody's messing with me. All right, so not a Mercedes Lewis question. Chase McLaughlin, what is the plan for him this week? I mean, are you really going to go in Sunday with him not kicking until maybe Saturday at the earliest?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now our plan is that we'll have Logan, working him in all three phases. He's able to do that, and then we'll see what Chase has. I think out of all the positions probably that you have that you can bring in to do something, that's probably the one position. I mean, I'm sure there might be others. I haven't really put a lot of thought to it, but because Logan handles kickoffs, so we're really just looking at one phase and just the field goal. So, I've not seen him live. I've heard a lot of good things about him. So I'm excited to see what he does, and I'll have a better feel on Saturday. I think that's exactly, Mark, when the protocol will open him up to be here.
And I mean, we've talked about it, but here it is, that kicking carousel again. I mean, is it just the craziest thing for you as a former player and offensive lineman to just this be the chaos of this season? Or maybe it's fitting that you're having to go through this kind of kicking issues.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say it's fitting. I don't know me being an ex-offensive lineman has anything to do with it. I definitely know that me, not being a good person has nothing to do with it. So it's not like it, I put this jinx on it. But it's unfortunate. I think that it's been I think when I look back on it, I don't see, this happening, I don't know if it's ever happened, to be honest with you. But I've seen this before here at certain positions, where we've, dropped guys left and right. I would say though, but if it's going to be one, I mean, obviously it's an important position because it scores points and, there's a level of confidence and things that you can do, and it helps you with the game plan and where you're going to be, where you're going to, continue to go. You might take chances and go for it, what I'm saying, depending, in that no man's land area, once you get to the team's other side. But it's the one position that you really don't have to, spend time getting him ready from schematic standpoints and everything like that, like an offensive player, defensive player. You have two extremes. One would be the quarterback, trying to get him ready. One would be probably, a safety or a linebacker trying to get him ready. And then obviously, I probably think that, getting your kicker, because your punter has a little bit more on his plate. You know what I'm saying, as far as protection schemes and what we're doing and everything of that nature. I don't know. I think when I don't really have time to look at it. I just kind of react to things right now. Yep. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. We'll go to D-Rock and then John Shipley.
Hey, Doug, because of the COVID situation and the lack of fans at Lambeau, how much simpler or easier does that make taking a rookie quarterback up there on the road for a second consecutive start?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it last week. I think that's obviously less pressure. You know what I'm saying, when you don't have fans. And for a young quarterback. So I agree with that. I mean, I've been up there. Once we played them when I was in New Orleans up in there, and I think it's it's a great place. I mean, it's they've really done a nice job there. It's all about football. It's all about the Packers. And It's exciting to see that because of the history. I'm big on the history. I've got a bunch of, Vince Lombardi stuff, in my collection. So, I think, there's a moment that you go there when you're driving up, you think about everything that's occurred up there. And then, obviously the professionalism, you just kind of stop and you just go play, but I think that, early in the year, I didn't know how I was going to react to, no fans. I thought, you'd be so focused and everything that's going on with the game that you wouldn't really, notice it. But, in pregame, even when you walk into the stadium or you're going to a stadium, the more thought I put into it, it is quite different, than anything else I've ever really experienced. Doesn't affect the game though, but it's just trying to give you guys a little insight of how it feels.
Have you noticed a change in Luton at all this week? It's one thing to be getting ready to make your first start, but now that he's got all of that behind him, does he seem more relaxed or anything to you this week? Anything that he didn't show last week, nerves or anything like that?
No, he didn't show it last week. I think he's the same. He's got business type approach. Doesn't like a lot of BS. Doesn't like, you know, just wants information. He's just going to take the information and see where he's going. And obviously it's a day-to-day process, and we're just trying to get him, keep the progression going and see where we can go, and see how many steps he can take, because I think Gene asked a question last week. It's funny, the first time you get in there, if you're decent, you got a pretty good chance to do well. I think the more you're on film, and people see you, they start studying you, then you got to really, continue to work. I remember I worked with Rob Moore, who's now the receiver coach. Rob was with me at Syracuse and Buffalo, and he's the receiver coach in Tennessee now, the Titans. And I remember him telling me, he's like, that first year you go out there, gosh, as a receiver, he was able to do a lot of great things, Pro Bowl and all that stuff. He goes, that second year was a whole lot harder because those guys got to study me, they got to watch me, and and that's the difference in a lot of positions. You can go in there sometimes, have a little bit of success, but then once people really start watching you and going, you got to make sure that your game's pretty tight, not to give anyone an advantage.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, D-Rock. We'll go to John Shipley and then Gary Smits.
Hey, Coach. This is a bit unrelated to Packers week, but can you talk about what kind of asset Denard Robinson has been on your staff this year, and just what it's been like having him coach for you?
I like him. I mean, he was good here when he was a player, as far as everything going, and he wanted to get into coaching and he wanted to start, and it was unfortunate that they dropped the football program, and it was fortunate that we were in a position where we could bring somebody in, and he's working. He asked a lot of good questions. I think he is a guy that wants to do well in this profession. Wants to work his way up, which I know that we all appreciate it. I think he has a really good understanding. He's played quarterback, he's ran the ball, he's played receiver, he's played multiple things, he's read coverages, so he has a lot of, he has a good foundation right now that, just needs to grow in the schematics world. And I think he will. I think he, handles himself well. He's a hard worker. He's here early in the morning. I think he'll have a long career, and I'm excited for him. He'll be coaching well after I am. I know that.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Shipley. We'll go to Gary Smits and then Jordan.
Hey, Doug. The number of blitzes that you guys dialed up the other day, you happy with that number? Do you like to see it a little bit more? And without you giving out your whole game plan, do you think you may fiddle around with personnel a little bit more on defense again?
I think they're all everything's up there, and it's even amount of playing more coverage. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, and like I said, Gary, I think that when if we would have just stayed the same, I think everything, I think we've could have got a little better, but we weren't going to get good enough right away to probably make an impact. And I think that there has been some slight improvement, along the lines of what we're trying to get done defensively, but not enough to go out there and start bragging about it. Obviously, because of our record, but you are starting to see some things, and we're changing so many things just to try to make sure we can put our guys in the best position. So we're going to continue to do that because we have to do that. And If we can start getting the production or more production, then things will work out well. If we don't, then we're going to keep trying to search for those answers and find another way.
And you might be the type of close only counts in horseshoes, but I mean, do you see the plays like the other day when you had him backed up, Logan backed him up with the punt, and then on back-to-back plays, you almost trapped Deshaun for a safety, and because he's Deshaun Watson, he got out of it. But do plays like that encourage you, even though the quarterback got out of it?
Gary, I'd love to answer that question, I'm saying, the right way, or truthfully, like I answer all my questions truthfully. But we're sitting here and we've lost, how many games in a row, you know what I mean? So I don't want to be one of these guys that, bullshits and, tries to, the philosophy and doing all that stuff. And, but I do see improvement, but it's obviously not at the rate that we need. These guys are working hard. We have no issues, in the building, which gives us a chance, and they're playing hard. How much better we can get them in this period of time, and try to win as many games as we can. That's exactly what we're trying to do. So I don't want to be that guy that comes out and after you lose a game and it's like, oh, we're getting better. I think that's, people don't want to hear that crap. At least my opinion. I'm sorry, but I hope I answered your question the best I can.
Sure. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Thanks, Gary. We'll go to Jordan, Mia, and then Gene.
Hey, Coach. Doug Costin, he got the most reps that he's received thus far in his young career last week. Did you like what you saw from him, and do you plan on getting him more reps as the season progresses?
I don't know about more reps, but I definitely love what I saw from him. I mean, I saw a player that was able to make plays, play square to the football, had good control of the line of scrimmage. For a guy starting his first game, I thought he played well. He's been productive. I mean, we've seen that. And I think with the amount of snaps, we still had the same production, which is good. So, he's good, but he'll be, I can tell you guys this, he's not going to be able to make two full starts in a row, though, because he'll be out this week.
Gotcha. Thanks. With the concussion,
Sure.
That is?
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jordan. We'll go to Mia and then Gene.
Got a 2-for-1 on that one.
Hey, Doug, just curious what you're anticipating and expectations are of the Packers offense, knowing that they've had issues at the running back position, not necessarily on their own accord, but because of COVID-19 protocols. And looking at their game last week, where obviously I think they had 2 or 3 healthy running backs. How do you prepare for a team like that?
Well, not that way right now. I mean, they're full strength. So, we have a ton of respect for them. They're explosive. Got one of the best quarterbacks that played the game, and running backs back, left tackles back. Got probably one of the best receivers in the league. Got speed on the outside. They got size. They can block. They can run. They got a Pro Bowl left tackle. I mean, they're loaded. So, it's a great challenge for us. So we've got to come up there and we've got to play extremely well. We understand that, and we look forward to that challenge.
Thanks, Mia. We'll go to Gene and then Hayes.
There we go.
There
Hey,
you go.
Doug.
Yep.
Just curious, at some point, you're going to have to make a decision between whenever Gardner gets healthy, which could be next week. I don't know. When that time comes, will you just basically make the decision based on who gives you the best chance to win, or will it be that you would like to see more reps from Jake?
Yeah. But right now, we're not at that point. I know this is a hypothetical. Right now, I want to see Gardner be able to throw first. I want to see where he throws, which, and then obviously I'll be able to evaluate this game, Gene, you know what I'm saying? Like common sense stuff, and then be able to have a better idea then, of what's going on. Because if he's not throwing the ball well, because of the thumb, well, then that decision is easy. I think that, if something happens and Jake doesn't perform well, and then Gardner's ready to go, then that decision, the question is going to come is, a decision of, like you said, of, how has Jake been playing? How is Gardner looking? Compared to what he was before, and then making a decision on who's the best player that can win these games. That's probably logically how I'm going at it about it without really thinking about it.
As a follow-up, are you concerned that Gardner might push it a little bit too much because of obviously he wants to get back in there, but quarterbacks just by nature or any player for that matter is competitive and wants to get back in there. But since it's such an important position, are you concerned that he may try to push it too much?
Well, in the beginning, I think he did that. He's already did that once. You know what I mean? We're not reporting the injury. So, I told him, I said, look, when we go out there next time and you tell me you're ready, we're going to put you out there on the field and we're going to look at it, and, if you're not, or I feel you're not, or, with obviously talking to Jay and Ben, and watch it with our eyes, then we're not going to play you, until you're 100% healthy. So I think what I try to do, because your point is well taken. I understood that, what I'm saying, the competitiveness in him. So, when we met afterwards, I wanted to make sure he understood that, hey, listen, you need to get healthy. That's the number one thing, because, I think it's shown when he come back and he's had this injury, it's not good for anyone, including himself.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Gene. We'll wrap up with Hayes.
Hey, Doug, I was curious, the last time the Packers played the Jaguars in 2016, there was sort of the dilemma over, do you do the contained rush on him and let him work out of the pocket, or do you go all out after him? What's sort of the balance in that and trying to defend Aaron Rodgers?
The plays that work are the ones that look good, and the plays that don't, when you make that mistake, you look like crap. Because he's gonna kill you. It really is. So, I think there's a balance in everything, Hayes. That you have to be able to do. I played them 3 times. Well, really 4. Once here in that game that you're talking about. Whenever that was when I was here. And then I played him in New York. I played him, with Brett Favre was there. I played him in New Orleans, up in Lambeau, and then we played him in Buffalo. So, it's always the big question wherever I've been, of how do you, defend, this quarterback, that can do so much. He can throw at every angle. He can extend plays. He can run. He's, like I said, he's one of the best in the league. And I think your question is one to, a lot of these great quarterbacks, what I'm saying? What do you want to do? Whether they can run or not, of how you want to defend them, how you want to pressure, how you want to do it. And, a lot of it's just, the right sequence, right play call, right time, all those things go into the equation. And I think it's tough. It's not like you're rolling the dice. I don't want to say that, because there's too much work that we put into making sure of, the right calls and what we want to do. But it's challenging. I think that's the best word I can say about it.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Coach. Thank
All
you,
right.
guys. We'll see you at 12:15 for Coach Gruden.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks.